Welcome to Eviliv3, the live media commentary show that answers the question, do angels really like donuts? I mean, I know they like cinnamon, just from personal experience, but donuts? Subscribe if you're new to the channel, because today we are reviewing The Prophecy 3, The Ascent. Yeah. This is a movie. Oh boy, where do I start? Okay, so my initial thoughts of this are, I've watched this way too many times for what it actually is. I should not watch this as many times as I've seen it before, but I keep going back to it because I like the idea of a trilogy of films that shows a character arc. And believe it or not, Gabriel, played by Christopher Walken, has a character arc throughout the course of these three films. And if you just take the third one as a standalone and you don't sort of compare and contrast it with the first and second, it's a horrible movie. I mean, arguably just on its own, it's not good at all. You should not watch it. But if you take it as a trilogy of the prophecy films where Christopher Walken's Gabriel has that character arc, then it's not that bad. And there's actually some nice little tongue-in-cheek moments in it. All right, so that being said, this was released March 14th, 2000, not that long ago, by straight-to-home video. Didn't have any theatrical release for obvious reasons. It was directed by Patrick Lussier and written by Joel Sisson and Carl Dupre. The logline is this. As the war between heaven and hell rages on, the half-human, half-angel Danyael, I don't know why I did that, is mankind's only hope against a diabolical angel that wants to destroy them all. That's a terrible setup. That's a terrible log line. A simpler log line would be, Pyriel, the Angel of Genocide, arises with the intention of destroying all of humankind. Only one person can stop him, Danyael, a Nephilim, who is born of an angel and a human. Gabriel acts as Daniel's guardian while Zophael seeks to destroy Danyael. So Zophael is a sort of a henchman, as it were, of Pyriel, this Angel of Genocide. Basically, Pyriel took the place of the original version of Gabriel, who wanted to, take heaven over and destroy all humans and win the war with the help of the wickedest soul of all humankind, which is the whole plot of the first film. The second film was an angel and a woman coming together and creating a Nephilim, which is Danyael in this movie. And Gabriel ends up getting he gets turned into a human. Basically like a renegade angel, if you will, because he has no angelic powers anymore. He can't ascend to heaven anymore. He's just trapped on earth to live as the very thing that he hated, which is perfect punishment. But it forces Gabriel to look at mankind, monkeys, as he refers to them, in a completely different way. I happen to love the concept of mankind. I hate individual humans, which... I know, it's crazy, but that's how I think. It's like Gabriel learns to appreciate mankind for all of its foibles and stuff, but now he's curious because the war is still going on. He was at the head of the war. Now he's completely cut out of the war in heaven. So he gets to look at that war and process it in a way that he never could before, being so far removed from it. So now he's wondering, well, what the hell is Danyael, a Nephilim? Why was he allowed to be born at all? And why can no one kill him? And Gabriel's character in the first two films is obsessed with the idea that he hasn't heard the word of God in eons. And he blames humans for it. But now he's starting to realize that that word is Danyael, the Nephilim. He's meant to bridge the gap. As angels are warring over humankind in this story, God is like, well then if angels want to kill humans and they can't get along, well, let's just make angels and humans get together so that they have mutual reason to stay alive. And so this Nephilim in the form of Danyael is the only one that is protected from God because he's created as his word. And he's the only one that can stop the war in heaven because he's the only one that can stand up against Pyriel, this angel of genocide. It's a cool premise on its face, and I would love to roleplay this in Nominate. It would be a great story to go through. It's just not done well on screen, like at all. The actors in this are horrible. The opening scene has Danyael preaching. Like he ends up his mom's house was firebombed, like sort of Molotov cocktails thrown, and it was just like burned everyone. She died in the fire protecting him. He ended up getting able to run away because he's part angel, so he could survive. And the bum of Gabriel, Christopher Walken's character, sees him being chased by a bunch of maniac, fervent, sort of zealots trying to kill him. And so he takes the boy under his, literal jacket, his trench coat, and just sort of hides him away so that those people run by. And then he just sort of lets Danyael grow up on the streets, and he becomes a preacher talking about how God is an absentee father, and we just have to get used to it. We're all here left alone, and we just have to get used to it and live our own lives. The arguably worst part of this entire film is his girlfriend. She does this one line that makes me infinitely hate her for all of life. My entire life, I will always hate this woman for this one line. And not just her character, the actress for having said it. I'm one of those assholes. So she says, "You tell him, preacher boy." What kind of a stupid fucking line? This is a grown man. He's not a boy. And you shouting to his congregation, or shouting from his congregation up to him, calling him preacher boy, is actually a demeaning line. Like, you're talking shit. You're heckling him. And it's presented as if she said, "You're the best. I love you. Woo!" It's just so insane. You've got to tell the truth, preacher boy. If I was the preacher boy, I'd be like, "I'm a man, lady." It's a line from Mallrats. And it's like, how could you just stand up there? And instead, he just like gives a smile. He's like, "That's right. I'm preacher boy." And this woman cannot act to save her life. Like, there are some good actors in this. All right, so first of all, Brad Dourif is in this. From Deadwood, from X-Files, from Chucky. I mean, he's a great actor. He's like one of those actors that's the intensity in his face. He's always crying in every role he does because he can like cry on cue. So he just keeps his eye open and they like water up and then he tears down. But he's always like, "And I will do it this way for this reason." And like he just has super intensity. And so every role forces him to do that because he's so good at it. He's done it in literally everything he's been in. So, and he's great. He's an amazing actor. And he plays this blind religious zealot right after that preacher boy line at the very beginning of the film. He's blind. He pulls out like a Glock and he just unloads it in Danyael's chest. And Danyael just dies lying down. And so there's a scene of Danyael and his girlfriend. His girlfriend's like over him crying, the best acting she could ever try to pull off. And it's laughably bad. Like she doesn't have tears in her eyes. She's just like squinting and like crinkling her face. It's so bad. It's not even good. So bad that it's good. It's just so bad that you're just like, I can't do this anymore. Like I should just turn it off right now. And you're like 3 minutes in. It's that fucking bad. But anyway, Brad Dourif was hired. He was commanded by Zophael, who's the henchman of Pyriel, in order to kill Danyael. And when he failed, Zophael then forces this religious zealot guy to kill himself. And it's great. And it's like, he stretches out his wing. Like, we don't see Zophael initially. We just see and I think it's a really nice way that they do this. We're shown Zophael through the eyes of the blind guy. So we just see him reacting, and there's like shadows that are cast across the room and across his face and stuff to let us know that there is in fact someone else there. And we see the wings spread out in shadow. So we know that it's an angel there. But it's as if this blind guy is actually seeing this divine angel in front of him that's asking him to murder and kill. And he was like, "Did you get the heart?" Because in order to kill angels, as everyone knows, you have to rip their heart out. And he's like, I didn't have the chance to get the heart out. Everyone was rushing around, but I killed him. I shot him. I know I did. And he's like, you have to get the heart. If you don't get the heart, he's going to come back. So we get the same scene that we got in the first two with the same actor, the first two prophecy films, where the supposedly dead angel gets sent to the morgue, and it's sent to the same guy. Was it Joseph? Steve Hittner? I think it's him. I hope it's him because he's great in the role, but like he's seen all the other dead angels. And so he's just like, another one, really? So he gets slamming drunk. He's just like, he can't deal with this anymore. He's done. And then the daughter comes in and, I mean, like, first of all, Danyael survives, surprised from the kill because he's half angel. He's a Nephilim. And so he busts himself out of the morgue, and the drunk ass morgue doctor takes a quick Polaroid of him. And then Zophael comes in hunting for him, trying to kill him because obviously his religious zealot blind guy didn't do it. Great choice in potential murderers, by the way, Angel. Dumbass. Maybe get someone who could see to pull off your job. I'm just saying it might help with the outcome. But he goes down there, doesn't see him, so he goes chasing the scent of him as he runs away trying to heal. And there's like this really interesting little bit in here, which it's like pointless, but like you don't need it. But it just shows Danyael goes to a donut shop and starts scarfing down donuts like they're going out of style or something. Like the world is going to end and this is the last chance to get donuts. He's just like, blah, blah, blah. And so when Zophael goes into the donut shop, he's like, did you see a kid like, blah, blah, blah? And the guy's like, yeah, I saw him. He's like, he ordered like a ton of donuts. He was sitting right over there. It was kind of gross. He was like, yeah, you need that for your metabolism when you're healing. Why even have the line? Why have the location? We don't care about like an angel's vessel, a human vessel that the angel is occupying, needing to heal through the use of sugar? What? That's the stupidest thing I've ever heard of in my life. But okay, like that's a new tidbit in the mythology of the prophecy. Like there's no reason. And then they had this ridiculously stupid fight. And here's the thing about this. Danyael was in the donut shop's bathroom. And inside the donut shop's bathroom looks like the bathroom from Trainspotting, which is the worst toilet in Scotland. Where Ewan McGregor goes after his suppository of heroin into the toilet. That's what this bathroom looked like. It's never been cleaned ever. It's the most disgusting, vile place. If I opened the door, I would have to like Pyriel and burn acid all over my hand just to get the mental image out of my mind that I touched something that looks similar to what's inside of that bathroom. But he's in there like washing his face as if it's not a filthy shithole. And then he comes out and the donut rack of fresh donuts is right next to the bathroom door. Who's going to eat those donuts? Not one person in the goddamn world is going to eat toilet donuts. That's the worst possible thing you could ever imagine. Why would the set designer put that together? Like, the inside of the donut shop looks fine. It looks like a regular clean diner or something. And then to have the bathroom from hell and then put the donuts right next to it? Fuck off. No way. I will not be eating at your establishment, even though it's made up. I still will not. Fuck off. Or clean your fucking bathroom. How hard is it? Get a Hep B shot and get in there. Start scrubbing. Get some scrubbing bubbles or something. All right. Anyway, the hell am I talking about? So it's a cat and mouse game between Zophael and Danyael the whole film. Eventually, Zophael recruits Danyael's girlfriend because he can't drive, because angels just can't drive. Which makes sense because, one, it's totally out of your wheelhouse. You fly around through the ethereal realm, and through the celestial realm your whole existence. Why do you need to learn how to drive? And second, like, why would you demean yourself? Like, you're calling humans monkeys. That means you would learn a monkey thing. Like, no, I'm not going to throw poop and I'm not going to drive. That's my angel stance. So I buy it. I get it. Anyway, he gets the girlfriend to go, driving around after him, trying to hunt him down. And that's where Gabriel, who is now chasing after Danyael, as Danyael is like sort of like inherently drawn to Pyriel. He's getting these images of this this angel that fell to earth eons ago that is just waiting to start this human genocide. It doesn't really say when it's going to kick off or how it's going to kick off or why he waited as long as he did to start kicking it off. It's just like, it's going to happen. And so Daniel's getting there as fast as he can to murder the guy. And then we get a great little connection with the first film with that little girl, Mary, who was holding the little native girl who was holding the spirit of the evil war criminal throughout the whole first film. She comes back as like an older woman. Her name is, not older woman, but like an early teen. She's Mariah Shining Dove Snyder. She's great. I loved her when she was a little kid. She did a great job as a child actress. Now as a younger woman, she had a single scene cameo and it was fine. You know, like she probably got like $200 for doing it. And that was it. But whatever, it was fine. It was good. It was nice to have that connection. And she was like, I dreamt of you. I dreamt of this angel of destruction, and you came and you defeated him. And so she gave him like a little angelic symbol on like this little polished onyx rock. And then he drove off. Meanwhile, Zophael's trying to get him, and Zophael crashes the car that his girlfriend's in. So Daniel stops. He's on like some motorcycle, you know, going through a bunch of like desert, it's mountain lands. And then turns around and starts to fight him, and they have this big fight sequence. And Zophael has this ridiculous weapon. Look, I've seen Temple of Doom. I assume with enough determination, one could rip their hand in someone's chest and pull out a still beating heart. It's just sort of in my childhood mind. I feel like if I had to do it, if someone put a gun to my head and said, do it or die, I could probably pull it off. Even though I know I never could. Just in my head, I'm just like, okay, that's believable. I saw it on TV. It must be real, right? Ripping someone's heart out of their chest, that's just something you do, right? You have to be religious fervor to do it. But if the guy in Temple of Doom could do it, and all of the angels in all of the previous prophecy films could do it, why not just keep up with that? In this version, they have like this weird pole that if you twist one end of it, little like reverse spikes facing back toward the end of the pole so that you could put it through someone's chest, turn it, have it activate, and then pull it back through, and it rips the heart out from the front. Why? That is needlessly complicated. Just put your Om Nom Shabai, Om Nom Shabai, Om Nom Shabai, blah! Like that's all you gotta do. If anything I've ever seen has proven that's all you need. Or even in the first prophecy films, all they do is just like, baga, rah, rah. Like that's the thing. And if you're Lucifer, you take a bite like a goddamn boss because Lucifer rules. Viggo Mortensen's Lucifer, that is. Anyway, so he has a stupid spear thing, and they're like fighting over control of it, and eventually gets it through Zophael and like rips his heart out, and then he like puts his own heart in his own hand. He's like, that's what it's like to be human. Like, Zophael's dying, and he's like, this must what it feels like to be human. Ugh. And he rips his heart out and puts it in his hand. No, this is what it's like. I'm a human. I've been a human my whole life. Never once have I had a heart in my hand. Ever. So how is that human? Instead, you should have a horrible sexual experience or a disappointing. That's human. That's something we can all relate to. Being wildly disappointed with oneself sexually. Yeah, that's more human than holding a hand in your heart. Because it's believable. We've all been there. Probably more than we'd like to admit. All right. Anyway. So then he goes off and sees Pyriel. The best part of this whole film, hands down the best part of this whole film, runner-up is Gabriel's arc that we'll get to in a second. The best part of this film is that Pyriel is standing on a pyramid of naked corpses, like writhing bodies. And so you get this beautiful scene, very iconic, very evocative, of just like naked bodies all writhing together on this massive pile. And he's just standing on top looking like some guy from Hanson, like the band. He's just like, I'm pretty boy. Worst actor playing that role too. So the guy who played Pyriel was Scott Cleverdon. Woof. He's a pretty guy to look at, but not a good actor. At least not in this role he wasn't. Maybe in other stuff he's done. I don't like shitting on actors for doing their job, but do your job well, and I won't. So he's like standing there on top, just mugging every scene we get to see him. And we get to see that pile. I mean, they do a pile of human bodies. You need to inject it as much as possible in a film. Otherwise, you're losing potential eyes, you know? The only reason to watch this is for that pile. So let's get it in as much as we can. I think they put it in the movie in like 7 different scenes or sequences. Like, it was in there a lot, which I appreciate, but it's weird because it doesn't ever suggest once, what does the pile mean? Why is the pile there? Why is he standing on top of it? What does that have to do with anything? And in fact, you don't even know who the guy standing on top of it is until the very, very last second when Christopher Walken is doing a monologue dump of just narrative storytelling. Like, this is why Pyriel exists. He took over from what I'm doing. He's trying to destroy heaven. And this is why they can't kill you, because you have to kill him. This is why they want you dead. You're the only one that can kill him. And so, you know, that's why they're all going. And this is the greatest part. So after, it's like super green screen, it was like as if it was done in the volume before the volume was a thing, clearly. That's what it felt like in this final battle. And the final battle was a joke. It was just like 2 punches and it was over. You're just like, oh, come on. Like, I want to scrap, you know? Get Conor McGregor in there as the Angel or something. Have him knock a bitch out. Like, let's fucking see some shit. So Christopher Walken ends up saying, you're the word. You are the word of God that I have not heard. Now I understand why it's so important that you survive, so that you could stop and unify heaven and stop the war in heaven. I get it. I hear it now. And at the end, when Danyael comes back from killing Pyriel, the Angel of Genocide, Christopher Walken is redeemed. And he is now, once again, Gabriel the Archangel. And he's like standing there, and he's like hopeful and happy, and everything's great. And it feels good, because you went from a character who was bent on destroying humanity and heaven itself to going literally through hell, ripped out of your celestial being, being made a human, and then you finally understand and hear the word of God, understand his message and the meaning behind it, and you support it, and now you are redeemed as once again the Archangel Gabriel, and you can now ascend to heaven and enjoy life like you always should have in, I don't know, like celestial Chili's? I don't know what heaven's like. So, like, I imagine it's like a Chili's, right? Yeah, it's probably a little uncomfortable. You don't know why the table's so sticky, but it is. You know, that's kind of heaven, I think. Anyway, the service is always bad. You got that really excited waiter or waitress that's really working for a good tip, but they're just not funny, and they're always trying to be funny. Yeah, that's Chili's. That's heaven. So anyway, and then he brings the girl back to life. Here's the least believable part about all of this. One, the actress playing this girl should not have ever been brought back to life. Like, let her be dead. It was bad enough. Why make Danyael suffer for Act 2 with this girl? Like, please, end it. And 2, whenever he brought someone back, their body was still decaying. They were still actively dying. Like, he was held in stasis all the time in both of the previous films whenever he brought someone back. So it wasn't like they brought back life to live. It was as if he brought him back as a zombie. And that 100%, that was it. And they still actively decayed physically, and they didn't even really want to be there because they knew they were held in stasis. They knew that they wanted to pass through to the other side, but they couldn't, and so it was torture. And so why does he suddenly now have the ability to resurrect people? Like, it doesn't make any sense. I don't know. And that threw me off at the very end. Made no logical sense. And then arguably the whole film doesn't make sense because you're never explained why Pyriel wants to really do it. You have to infer. It never explains what Pyriel's plan is or why only Danyael and Nephilim can destroy him. Only that there is a plan. He is the only one, and he's going to do it. How was he drawn there? How did he find where Pyriel was? I don't know. You just have to believe it. So, horrible film, but I've watched it a lot because I enjoy the Pyramid of Naked Bodies, which is awesome. It's not something that you look at like porn and like jerk off to or something. It's not like that. It's just, it's an evocative image, you know? And just I don't know. It sort of reminds me of, I think Devil's Advocate had a scene where there's like writhing female bodies or something like that. It's just something about it that it's awesome to look at. It's really, really fun. So anyway, that's what I thought about it. My favorite part of this is the Pyramid of Bodies and the character arc for Christopher Walken's Gabriel. My least favorite part is this female actress. Oh, god damn, she's horrible in this. And that you are requiring a information dump from Gabriel at the end of the film so that anyone understands what the fuck we've been watching the whole time. And you should not need that. That's too much. Because of that, I ended up giving it a 3 out of 5 evil eyes. Now, the only reason why I didn't give it a 2 is because of the Pyramid of Naked Bodies. It deserves a 2 or maybe a 1. Maybe a 0, to be honest. But that Pyramid of Bodies does a lot for me. So I got to give them a little bit for it because I've never seen anything like that before, and it was amazing. So anyway, for that reason alone, go check it out. Thanks for watching this review of The Prophecy 3, The Ascent. Again, The Ascent. What the hell does that mean? I don't know. Oh, here's the other thing that's crazy. I'm going to drop my rating. This picture of Christopher Walken does not exist in this film. Christopher Walken in this film has long gray hair, nipple length, the whole film. He never looks like that. Not one scene. So you have to ask yourself, why did they do that? Why did they keep him looking like that? And the only thing I can think of is that's the image of him from the first poster. This was a straight to home video release. They didn't want to do another photo shoot. So they're just like, well, it's Christopher Walken, so I just put his face on it. And like, look at the image down here. That looks like some big storm cloud over a city. Never happened. That was not part of the film at all. So why is it there? I don't know. It makes no sense. They just threw shit together. Oh, Dimension Films, you silly bastards. All right. As always, remember the evil spelled backwards is live. Go check out the Prophecy trilogy. I'm going to be doing 4 and 5 too, and they're not good. So be prepared for that. As always, remember the evil spelled backwards is live. So get out there and be evil on top of a Cinnabon covered naked body pile.